Dollywood is one of the world's greatest and most balanced theme parks. From the food to the theming and cleanliness, and of course the roller coasters, there are not many parks that rival Herschend's signature park. In this review, we will give you our complete thoughts on this park, as well as tips and tricks to maximize your visit to Dollywood in the 2024 season. Let's dive into this park's lineup first. Dollywood has an extremely unique and well-rounded lineup of roller coasters, including some of the world's best family coasters. But the park also has a very solid lineup of thrill coasters, with the standout coaster being the problematic but amazing Lightning Rod. This is definitely one of the world's best coasters and is one of the most underrated attractions I've experienced. It has the perfect combination of speed, airtime, and pacing, and also has one of the best airtime sequences of any coaster with the quad down. It has 4 rapid-fire moments of airtime while flying down the side of the hill Lightning Rod sits on. But it also has other crazy moments of ejector airtime, like the 2 twist and shouts. Obviously, it won't be its old version this year because the launch is getting removed. I don't know how much this will change the ride experience, but it will probably have a slightly negative effect. The launch was the most unique thing about this roller coaster. There wasn't really anything like shooting up the side of the hillside before flying over the crest of that small drop and then into the rest of the layout. It won't be the same now that the launch is gone, but it still has an elite layout that every roller coaster enthusiast needs to ride at least once. And frankly, after the lift hill, it should be the same coaster anyway. The park claims it will be, so we will have to hear from the earlier reviews of the new Lightning Rod. As of the recording of this video, the coaster is due to open on March 8. We might have to update this video based on what we hear out of Dollywood on the new Lightning Rod, but I'm confident it will still be an outstanding roller coaster. Thunderhead is an extremely well done GCI wooden coaster with great pacing, airtime, and lateral forces. You fly through each turn and drop, giving a nice mix of forces. It is also one of the smoothest wooden coasters I've ever ridden. There's almost no rattle or hint of roughness at all. Dollywood has done a great job taking care of this coaster, and I'm pretty sure they retracked the whole layout last year. Overall, it is one of my favorite roller coasters from GCI and my second favorite ride at Dollywood. Wild Eagle is another underrated attraction at Dollywood. It is a B&M wing coaster that sits at a height of 210 feet but has a much smaller first drop of 135 feet. It features a unique layout for wing coasters and is easily one of the top 2 most intense of this model in America. I'd even argue it is the most intense wing coaster in the US in terms of positive Gs. Each valley has strong positives and some of the inversions deliver sustained positives as well. Wild Eagle also has 2 floaty inversions that have some nice forces as well. Overall, this is my second or third favorite wing coaster in the US. It does some things very well, and it is just another one of the underrated roller coasters at Dollywood. I keep saying that all the roller coasters are underrated, but that's actually the truth. Most of Dollywood's lineup flies under the radar more than it deserves. Dollywood also has one of the best roller coasters from aerodynamics ever built with Tennessee Tornado. It is a decently smooth and very intense terrain layout. The lift hill of this attraction goes straight up the side of a hill, and then turns around and dives down the same hill, straight into a tunnel and flies through a vertical loop that is quite intense. Then you fly through a bat wing that piles on more intense positive G-forces, but then you quickly turn right and into the brakes. Tennessee Tornado is a short but intense ride, and the uniqueness makes it a fun supporting coaster. One tip from me is that if you're a tall person, you have to make it a priority to sit in the front of the car you're in. If you're in the second row of the car and you have long legs, your knees will probably bang up against the seat in front of you. That was definitely a problem for me. Another one of Dollywood's extreme coasters is Mystery Mine. This is a Gerstlauer Eurofighter with one of the more wacky and weird layout and overall ride experiences you will ever see. It starts out with a dark ride section with lots of theming. Then you climb a vertical lift hill and travel through a really janky section of ride. There's a short but almost vertical drop and some small weird turns with odd banking. Your head will probably bang into the restraint more than once. After that, you climb another vertical lift hill inside of a giant building. Next is a twisted beyond vertical drop that has great airtime and laterals. Then you fly through the finale, a flying snake dive with some of the weirdest shaping ever. The dive loop part of this element hangs you upside down for such a long time. Finally, you pop into the brakes, which delivers a short and violent pop of airtime that actually hurts to experience. This is a fun ride, I'd say, but will beat you up a bit and is definitely one of the funkiest coasters in the world. If this had the Gerstlauer lap bars, I'd like to think that it would be more fun. Dollywood's newest coaster, Big Bear Mountain, is one of the best family coasters in the world. It actually provides some positive and lateral forces, and the layout flows very smoothly. There are lots of twisted airtime hills and turns, and most of them will give a very small amount of airtime. There's also onboard audio that talks to you during the ride. The launches actually have some force to them as well. However, I think the $25 million Dollywood paid for this is way too much. The spoiled enthusiast in me thinks about how Dollywood could have gotten a B&M Hyper for the same price. But this park has always been centered around families, so it makes sense to spend a lot of money on an excellent family coaster. As good as Big Bear Mountain is, my favorite family coaster in the park is definitely Fire Chaser Express. This is one of the few family coasters Gerstlauer built outside of their spinning model. It features a backwards section, a launch, multiple airtime hills that give decent airtime, and a story-driven experience. The station and queue resemble a fire station, and you are part of a hypothetical volunteer fire department that is called to put out a fire. This attraction has an interesting layout for a family coaster, with a few airtime moments and a layout that stays pretty high off the ground. Then you ride into a shed with a show scene, and after that you traverse a backwards section that has some airtime and forces, and obviously any element is going to be way more fun when you're traveling backwards. The uniqueness of the backwards section and theming of this ride is what makes it better than Big Bear Mountain to me. You just feel more immersed in the experience. This is a really fun attraction. Dollywood has 2 other solid family coasters and 1 kiddie coaster. Dragon Flyer is a Vekoma suspended coaster. It is a short and simple layout with minimal forces, but is a good way to introduce kids to bigger roller coasters. Blazing Fury is pretty much a clone of the original Fire in the Hole at Silver Dollar City, so if you've ridden that, you know what to expect. This is a fine roller coaster, and I think that every park could use a roller coaster like this. Their kiddie coaster is just a small Zamperla kiddie coaster that is meant to be a small kid's first roller coaster. We rode it for the credit like entitled enthusiasts, but obviously this is not a roller coaster meant for taller people, so you might have a harder time getting in and out of this coaster like me if you're above 6 foot. Overall, Dollywood has an extremely underrated and unique lineup consisting of a balance of thrill and family coasters. Every ride at this park is pretty much something you can't experience anywhere else. If you are visiting with a family, especially with young kids, this is one of the best parks to visit. Now I'm going to quickly go through the order in which I like to hit all of the roller coasters at this park in order to save as much time and be as efficient as possible. Personally, I like to get to the park early to be first in line and hit Lightning Rod first. If it's open, I don't like to take any chances, because to me, it's by far the best roller coaster in the park. From there, I prefer to head towards the back of the park and go through the park counterclockwise as it would appear on the park map by hitting Blazing Fury, Tennessee Tornado, and Wild Eagle, then heading towards Wildwood Grove and the family coasters. Eventually, if you just keep heading in this direction, you can hit all of the coasters in one lap around the park. However, there is an alternate method if you really want to save time, which is to head to Wildwood Grove and hit all the family coasters first. Throughout the day, Big Bear Mountain, Dragon Flyer, and Fire Chaser Express will consistently have the longest lines. So if you want the credit but want to avoid the potential hour-long wait later in the day, hit those coasters first. Wild Eagle, Tennessee Tornado, and Thunderhead typically have the shortest lines, normally all under 15 minutes. So you can take your pick on your route through the park right away in the morning, depending on your priorities. If you want to ride Lightning Rod first and take no chances on it, head that direction. If you want to be as optimal as possible with your time, head to the family coasters first. Other than roller coasters, Dollywood has a fine flat ride collection. They have one of my favorite drop towers ever, called Dropline. It gives some of the best views of the Smoky Mountains that you'll find anywhere in the park, plus the drop is abrupt and gives strong airtime and a great stomach-dropping sensation. There is also an S&S Scream and Swing, which is about on par with the others I've ridden, including the ones at Silver Dollar City and Valley Fair. But other than those 2 rides, they don't have much else in terms of thrilling flat rides. They do have some raft and water rides for a change-up, which you might enjoy, especially if it's hot. Food is just another one of the many praised things at Dollywood. They offer unique restaurants and foods, but if you know anything about this park, you've heard about the cinnamon bread. It is a little pricey, but it is 100% worth it to try. It is definitely the best food I've ever had at an amusement park. Aside from this amazing dessert, they have a wide variety of unique foods. Many restaurants in the park offer barbecued food like brisket, turkey legs, and pulled pork. One restaurant we really like, which I don't see talked about too much, is Hickory House Barbecue, located in Craftsman's Valley. The cool thing about this restaurant is that it is located next to a bald eagle enclosure, so you can eat while watching a bunch of eagles. And of course, the food is good too. They have smoked meats and really good fries. I've also heard good things about Aunt Granny's restaurant, which has fried chicken and catfish, along with pot roast and some other meats. They have a wide variety of sides and desserts too, like mac and cheese and banana pudding. This restaurant is located in Rivertown Junction. These are just two of the many restaurants in Dollywood. There are many others that offer unique foods that you can find only in this region of the country, and you definitely won't find at any other amusement park. I don't think you'll be disappointed with whatever you decide to eat here. Dollywood offers two different on-site hotels, the Dreammore Resort and the brand new Heartsong Lodge and Resort. These are great places to stay, however, they are extremely expensive. The Dreammore Resort is over $350 per night, and the Heartsong Lodge is over $450 per night. There are multiple restaurants connected to the hotels, as well as an indoor and outdoor pool. Plus, you get complimentary skip-the-line passes, transportation to the park so you don't pay for parking, and early entry on Saturdays only. Dollywood's early entry usually only has one coaster open, and sometimes it is only a family coaster like Dragon Flyer, or even a water ride. But I think you'd be better off saving your money by staying at a basic chain hotel in Pigeon Forge. This is a tourist town, so there are plenty of hotel options for you to choose from. Overall, Dollywood is one of the most well-rounded parks in the world, and I'd recommend it to anybody. It has great family rides, thrill rides, theming, food, uniqueness, and amazing scenery. Dollywood is definitely a must-visit for any coaster enthusiast, family, or anybody looking for a great time. There isn't anything this park lacks in. So that will conclude our review of Dollywood. What are your thoughts on this park? Are you planning to visit Dollywood in 2024? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you for watching.